Alright, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're talking about the AMD experience. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, you know, if you've been here for a while, and if you're new to the channel, 145 days ago, I switched from Nvidia over to AMD. I bought myself the 7900 XT, and I absolutely love that freaking card. But last night, I decided to go and pick up a 7800 XT so that I could start testing this on the channel. Now, this is day 2 with the 7800 XT. I stayed up super late last night playing a whole bunch of games, getting a feel for the card, kind of getting an overall performance rating for that card. I got 3 videos uploading right now. We got some Witcher 3, I got some Lords of the Fallen, and I got some EA Sports WRC, all running on the 7800 XT. And I have to tell you, I am very surprised at just how good this card does at 1440p and even some games at 4K. Now, with The Witcher 3, this is interesting. So if I'm playing at 1440p, I kind of get like this frame pacing issue. But right when I turn it past 1440p, that completely goes away and the game runs significantly more stable. I'm getting about a 60 FPS experience with utilizing FSR 2.0 quality with full ray tracing on that game, and it looks very, very nice. When I get into Novigrad, I'm dropping down to about 45 frames a second in the square, which is very impressive in my opinion for that card, because my 7900 XT is in those same settings, maybe a little bit higher, maybe 15 to 20 frames higher than what I'm getting on the 7800 XT. And I noticed that same correlation with performance when I was playing, WRC, EA Sports WRC at 4K. I'm getting about 20 to 30 frames more on the 7900 XT. I think on that one I was getting pretty close to 120 FPS on the 7900 XT at 4K, where I'm getting about 90 frames a second on the 7800 XT, which is still very impressive at 4K playing that game with all the settings turned up. Now, on that game, I do have the shadows. I'm using the exact same settings, so my shadows are set to medium, my car reflections are ultra low, and then I have the mirror set to low or something, but everything else is on ultra on that game. Lords of the Fallen, again, using FSR, 3 FSR 3 with the frame gen on there, I'm getting about 90 frames per second. When I recorded that video, it said that there was something wrong with Reba Tuner, so I just used the AMD software, but it wasn't recording on screen, so that kind of sucks. But I'm still going to upload that video. Now, let me give you my overall experience. My first impressions for this card are very, very good. I have ran into a couple of things, with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart while trying to make content for that. I was getting the drivers would time out. It just started timing out. Like, it would freeze, it would time out. And so I just, was like, okay, well, obviously that game needs a little bit of help or something. I'll still be playing around with that. Now, when I made the video the other day and I was showing you guys Forspoken and the other game that were having problems with that. So with Forspoken, if I use frame generation, the AMD overlay software creates stutter in that game. It did not do that with the 7900 XT. I was 100% able to utilize the 7900 XT while playing that game. What happens is when I go to record that gameplay, it automatically makes it stutter and not stable. But when I turn all that off and I'm just playing the game, it is an absolute it runs just fine. It runs fine with frame generation. It runs just fine with the frame generation, and it runs fine with FSR, all of that. So that's not a problem. Very smooth experience, about 140 frames a second, utilizing frame generation at 1440p with everything maxed out, including ray tracing. Game runs just fine. It's definitely something that has to do with the overall experience, with the software. So hopefully these bugs get kind of worked out. Overall, the experience with the 7800 XT is very impressive. I guess you could say, like, if you're using the 7900 XT as a 1440p gaming card and the 7800 XT, that doesn't necessarily make sense to not get the 7800 XT, because the performance that you're getting out of 7800 XT versus what you're getting out of the 7900 XT at 1440p, because that card has, like, it kind of, my CPU kind of bottlenecks the 7900 XT at 1440p, whereas the 7800 XT with my CPU with the 5900X is very, very smooth and built very nicely. So I'm getting pretty close to like this the overall experience that I would be getting from the 7900 XT with the 7800 XT. So this is, how do I say this? The 7800 XT is an absolute powerhouse for 1440p gaming. And, you know, the games that I have tried at 4K are running very well. And most of the games that I would be playing 4K on this card are going to be my sim racing games. I'm getting pretty dang good performance out of Forza Motorsport, EA Sports. So I know that if those two are running well, all the rest of my games, all the rest of my racing games are going to be absolutely perfect on this card. I'll still be able to hit my 120 FPS refresh rate on this LGC2, and that will be very nice to be able to still continue to play all my racing games on the rig with this card. That's incredible. I'll tell you what. Like, the overall 1440p experience with the 7800 XT, from what I've played and the games that I have been playing, that I have tried on this, I'm very impressed with that. Like, I'm very impressed with that. And to tell you the truth, had this card already been out when I bought the 7900 XT, I probably would have bought this 7800 XT, and I feel like I would have been pretty happy with that overall experience. Now, when it comes to things like AMD's fluid motion frames on the 7900 XT, I do get, you know, like a higher frame rate at 4K and stuff. Like, most of the time I'm pushing about 90, you know, on certain games to well above that. I tried out, I got on Assassin's Creed Mirage last night. I was playing around with that one, utilizing the 7800 XT and just playing that, and I'm still pushing like 90 frames a second at 4K or at 1440p. Or is it 4K? No, it was at 4K. I'm still pushing like 90 frames a second at 4K. I recorded that, but I had HDR on, and so it kind of just made the whole thing darker, so I wasn't able to utilize that video. I'm going to have to rework on that again today. I'm still like knee deep in testing out this 7800 XT, but I wanted to keep getting this content out as quick as possible, so that, like, right now, where there's sales going on, that you can get in there and get it and get this thing into your rig and fully enjoy this, because this card is absolutely incredible compared to what my 7900 XT does. Now, the 4K thing is a completely different issue. Now, I do believe that the 7900 XT, because I've been utilizing that card at 4K, and I've been able to play these games over 60 frames a second on the 7900 XT at 4K, you know, using like various settings and being able to utilize FSR and quality and all of that stuff. So I do think that, you know, the 7900 XT is going to perform significantly better at 4K, whereas the 7800 XT is definitely like a bridge to 4K. Like, it'll do some stuff. It'll do some stuff at 4K, but it's still mainly a 1440p card. And that there is pretty much where that card's going to sit. I do think, now this is my honest opinion, I do think that the 7900 XT has more than enough power to really push 1440p, you know, for a while. I think, you know, easily, you know, you should be able to buy this card this generation and potentially get through the next generation still utilizing 1440p without really having to do a whole lot to the settings. Now, when it comes to these Unreal Engine 5 games that I've been playing on there, you know, like RoboCop, all of this stuff, RoboCop is at least a 60 FPS experience with everything ultra. And then if you turn on the FSR, then it's like a 90 to 100 FPS at 1440p. So that is still very, very good for this overall experience. Like, I am 100% happy with the AMD 79 or 7800 XT, just as I am with my 7900 XT. I feel like the experience has translated very well. And, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that, in my opinion, if the 7900 XT is an $800 card, I do kind of feel like I do kind of feel like AMD priced this 7800 XT very well. Very well. Like, it is almost, it's almost to a point where, like, you could buy the 7800 XT and, like, the performance gain that you get at 1440p for the 7900 XT honestly doesn't make any sense. But if you are looking to play more at 4K, then yes, the 7900 XT is definitely going to be more of an appealing card for you, due to the fact that it's got the 20 gigs of VRAM versus the 16 gigs of VRAM that are found on the 7800 XT. I could have easily, yesterday when I bought this AMD card, I could have easily bought myself a 70 or a 4070 Ti, or even a 4080, but I figured that I wanted to stick with AMD because I've been happy with AMD. AMD is 100% given me an experience that's truly opened my eyes to PC gaming and actually got me into PC gaming a lot more, and given me an overall experience that I enjoy, that I like to figure this stuff out and have some fun with it. Nvidia just, to me, just doesn't feel, I really do feel like Nvidia is a super overhyped product, and the expense that you're asked to pay for that, it's kind of ridiculous if you ask me. I mean, like, for a 4070 Ti, asking like $900 almost for that card, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous when you could buy something like a 7800 XT and fully enjoy this card and utilize this and still be able to get ray tracing and all of that stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, all right, my friends, day 145 on the AMD train. I'm really liking this experience. I'm glad that I picked up this 7800 XT so I can continue making content for the channel and, for AMD. Eventually, I will be building out a whole nother PC. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to jump my 7900 XT up to the AM5 platform as I build out a new one, or if I'm going to stick to the AM4 platform. I am leaning towards going with like a 7800X 3D and building out an AM5 platform for this card, but that's going to take me a little while. I'm going to have to do a little more research, wait for the AM5 platform to continue to grow out, but I will be covering the 7800 XT, at least for the foreseeable future, until I decide, to take it out and put the 7900 XT back in there. But I will be covering the 7800 XT for a while, like a minimum a month, maybe even longer. I've got a lot of games to get through, to make content on for it, so we'll definitely check this out. We'll put it through its paces, and we will 100% see if all of the driver timeout issues and all of the stuff that people are complaining about online are actually true. Because in my experience so far, I've only had it do the driver timeout things with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That's it. That's the only game that I've had that type of an issue with. Everything else has been pretty good. I did have a crash while I was making the Witcher 3 video. You'll see that in the Witcher 3 video. It just stopped, but it didn't give me like a driver crash. It was like a game thing. Maybe I was like changing the settings a lot because I was in there playing around with them a whole bunch, and then it just kicked me out to the menu, or kicked me out to the PC screen, and I got back in the game and it ran just fine. So little things like that if they start to pile up, then I will start saying stuff about it, and I will start kind of riding it. But after as much games as I've been playing last night and today, and only having those two games give me that kind of an issue, so far I'm okay with that. if it continues to happen, then you know, maybe I'll start making a little bit more noise about it. But it's just been, you know, those two games. Same thing with the Alan Wake 2. In the first video I put out in my hour and a half, I showed you guys like the water thing. After I started playing around with that without recording it and without the software to show you the frame rate and everything, those problems were not happening again. So it's, you know, it is definitely software related, or AMD Adrenalin software related to this specific experience. So I'll keep looking out for those as well, and I'll be reporting back to them. But in my experience, just playing games without recording or without, you know, doing any of that other stuff, I have not had any of these problems. So I'm wondering if it is just kind of a using the AMD platform to record this video footage. I wonder if that is what is overall causing this to happen. So I'm gonna do some more research on this. I'm gonna do some more digging, some more testing and all of that stuff to see if the problem still persists when I'm, you know, when I'm recording versus not recording, so I can get you guys the most accurate information that I can. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.